In a victory for DACA recipients, the Supreme Court will stay out of litigation over the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program for now. But the move also likely reduces pressure on Congress to find a permanent solution. Borrowing a line from a Parkland, Florida school shooting survivor, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Andrew White is urging Republican Governor Greg Abbott to call a special legislative session to pass universal background checks and other gun control measures. And starting Saturday, families can get an up-close and personal experience of the great outdoors from a new $5 million expansion to the San Antonio Botanical Garden. Good morning. Those are your headlines from expressnews.com. I'm Chance Dorling with your Express News briefing for Tuesday, February 26th. Brought to you this morning by North Park Mazda, the #1 Mazda dealer in Texas last month. Monday, the Supreme Court declined to hear the Trump administration's request to immediately review a lower court decision that keeps in place protections for some 700,000 undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as children, including 124,000 in Texas. But while the decision marks a victory for DACA recipients, the announcement also likely will reduce pressure on Congress to find a permanent solution. The move assures that the administration's March 5th deadline for ending the program will pass with key elements of DACA intact, enabling those who had already enrolled to continue applying for 2-year renewals of their work authorizations. San Antonio Dreamers welcomed the ruling, but Baylor University law professor Laura Hernandez cautions that efforts aimed at a DACA solution should not stop because of what only amounts to a temporary victory for Dreamers. Invoking the name of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School senior turned gun control advocate Emma Gonzalez, Monday Democratic gubernatorial candidate Andrew White called BS on Texas Governor Greg Abbott, urging the Republican to call a special legislative session to pass gun control measures, including universal background checks.
And she very eloquently called out our leaders with her speech where she said, "I call BS." And so today, I call BS on Governor Abbott. I call BS because you can support the Second Amendment and also support common sense gun safety legislation.
A Houston businessman and son of former Governor Mark White, Andrew White is running in a crowded primary for the nomination to face Abbott in the November general election.
And yet, he's too afraid to do anything about it because he's protecting his A+ NRA rating.
White wants universal background checks, including for private sales and for a restriction on the sale of large-capacity magazines, noting that if he's elected governor, he would sign a measure raising the age to purchase a rifle from 18 to 21, with an exclusion for people who are actively serving in the military.
What would happen if he did those things and his rating, his NRA grade went from an A+ to, I don't know, maybe a B? This is one time when I wouldn't mind having a grade fall because our children would be safer because of that. So I call BS.
Last year, a proposal to eliminate the so-called gun show loophole that allows unlicensed sellers to sell firearms without a background check on buyers failed in the legislature. Saturday, the San Antonio Botanical Garden debuts its new $5 million 2.5-acre expansion, created to give families an up-close and personal experience of the great outdoors. The new space completes the first part of an ongoing $40 million expansion of the garden that has been in the works for about 4 years. The first half of Phase 1 opened in October and included the parking garden, welcoming center featuring the HEB Discovery Center, the Mays Family Display Garden, and a culinary garden complete with an outdoor teaching kitchen in the Goldsberry Foundation Pavilion. Next is Phase 2, which holds a central lawn, a new administration building, and an education and event center, all slated to open in October of 2019. A ribbon-cutting ceremony is scheduled for 9 a.m. Saturday with Mayor Ron Nierenberg and Texas House Speaker Joe Straus. In addition to these stories, today our reporters are also chasing down more headlines, including details on a computer-animated video developed by UTSA's College of Architecture, Construction, and Planning that for the first time gives people a full-color feel for life in Alamo Plaza in 1912. A time when electric trolleys, Chili Queen serving food, Ford Model Ts, and a lushly landscaped island filled the plaza. Also coming up from the San Antonio Express News is a rundown of what area teachers think about allowing educators to be trained to keep guns on campus as a defense against potential shooters. While a 2013 state law gave districts that local option, no Bexar County school district took advantage of the change, and we'll speak with superintendents, board members, and teacher union reps to find out why. And that's your Express Briefing for Tuesday, February 27th from expressnews.com. Brought to you this morning by North Park Mazda, the #1 Mazda dealer in Texas last month. I'm Chance Dorland.